Hey everybody, welcome to False Flag. We are about to be made total fools of. Just a warning. Take it away, Mark.
All right, we're going to talk about civics. One thing I wanted to do with the podcast, and we'll get to that at the end, is we realize that right now in education, no one's teaching civics anymore. And in fact, a year ago, there was a 30-year-old girl that I did a protest with, and afterwards I told her I was going to go talk to my state senator and let them know my thoughts about a bill and get their thoughts. And she was like, "You can do that? You can just drop by their office?" And so a lot of people don't understand basic civics deals. So we're going to start off with the basic test. They don't have the answers. So number one, what did the Declaration of Independence do?
It declared we was independent.
From who? From Canada, right? Canada. It was Canada.
Yeah, we were a British colony, and it wasn't just for taxes. That we actually had very low taxes. We wanted to pay no taxes. It's just something in our DNA. And the Declaration of Independence is basically saying we're going to go off on our own, and if you don't like it, well, you can suck it.
Good job. You got it right.
That's verbatim, by the way.
Announced our independence from Great Britain, declared our independence from Great Britain, and said that the United States is free from Great Britain. So got that right. So the next one. How do we show our loyalty when we say the Pledge of Allegiance?
I don't know what that means. We pledge allegiance, which is that's what allegiance means.
You put your hand over your heart and you speak to the flag and you worship it like a symbol.
You watch the flag. You got to turn to the flag wherever it is.
Put your hand over it
and worship. Yeah.
And is it mandatory in a free country?
No, it's not. Yeah. But allegiance, that's what it means. So I guess if you're pledging allegiance to the flag, then that's what you're doing.
Yeah, and recently somebody said to me, and it was kind of funny. He said, I don't know why they think that we have democracy. It's a republic because we pledge allegiance to the
republic. Yeah, we do pledge allegiance to the republic.
We show loyalty.
What's the one religious group that won't do that because it's an affront to God? They come into your house all the time. They
Jehovah's Witnesses.
Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, they won't do it.
Michael Jackson was a Jehovah's Witness.
I'm no Bible scholar. You probably know better about this, but I think somewhere in the Bible it says, "Don't make oaths," and a pledge is an oath.
Yes.
Yeah, and some religious people won't swear upon the Bible in court. We show our loyalty when we say the pledge by showing our loyalty to the United States and to the flag. Now, my question is, how does a fucking preamble in a set of words show any loyalty to anything? I mean, that's just stupid.
On a tin hat thing of it, it actually gets you thinking as a group. You're all doing the same thing. You're all in the same.
It's propaganda.
What's the very first thing you go into the military? They shave your head and give you crappy clothes, so you all look exactly the same.
And peer pressure, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What's the difference between a prison sentence and a signing up to serve the Army for 4 years?
Not much.
Pays a little better.
Yeah.
That's it.
Pays a little better.
That's it. All right, so we got.
Well, one, you can shoot people legally.
Yeah, that is true.
Prisoners can't do that.
Prisoners can't do that.
No.
What is the name of the President of the United States right now?
Oh, God. Pass.
Steve Bannon?
Yeah, that's a multiple choice.
Yeah.
That's all the above.
Yeah, it says it's Donald T. Rump.
Donald T. Rump.
His German's name.
The House of Representatives have how many voting members?
400 and something?
Something like that.
480.
I think there's
it's based on population of the state. We have 7.
Yeah.
I think it's around 480, 490.
No, I think that's the high 400s is including the Senate, which is
no, that's separate. The Senate is 2 per state. That's 100.
Right. But I mean, and so you got I don't know. Yeah, it's hundreds of them. Heck, I don't know.
435.
Okay, it does vary though.
So you got it right. I'll give it to you. What is the name of the vice president of the United States right now?
Oh my God! Oh, everybody knows this.
Yeah.
Trumpets.
Yeah, Trump, Pence. Yeah, at the end times, God said at the end times that they would before He destroys the world, He'd bring forth Trump and Pence.
Trumpets.
Who makes federal laws?
I wasn't finished with my joke.
Sorry.
Okay,
I'm
they
bad.
was going to bring in Trump and Pence, and then when they write it down, they're like trumpets. Oh, they'll understand.
Who makes federal laws?
Coca-Cola.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
That's probably more accurate than
APAC.
Yeah,
Alex.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Alex and APAC.
Alex.
No, let's answer the question for the podcast viewers.
Gotta be educational.
It's the Congress and legislature.
I think that was educational. Though.
Yeah. Supposedly it's Congress, the Senate, and the House of Representatives, U.S. or national legislature. If you use the word Congress, that's all the Senate and the House of Representatives.
And Mr. Trump, if you're listening out there, you cannot make the laws.
Yeah.
Just throw that out there.
And to the senators and representatives listening out there, you need to start listening to the citizens more than you do the corporations. Because I'm serious. Congress is just as corrupt. And this was our second podcast on muckrakers. Our government is just as corrupt today as it was at the turn of the century in the 1900s when the muckrakers really got started. And it's got to be stopped again.
Well, I brought up the Koch brothers. That's the whole healthcare thing. I mean, we've actually saw it happen. Koch brothers come out and said, "We want you to completely gut Obamacare." That's where the no hospitalization, no maternity, just don't get sick, and published an open letter to the Senate, House and Senate. If you go against me, I will put millions of dollars against you. You go with me, I will give your campaign millions of dollars.
Well, and that's being challenged. I don't know if you realize that, but it's been being challenged by the Pepsi brothers as well.
No, but that's not the way that's absolutely that's blatant bribery, blatant money influence.
It's legal though.
It is legal thanks to that. What was it? Citizens United. Yeah.
If both the president and the vice president can no longer serve, who becomes president?
The Speaker of the House.
Speaker of the House. Yeah, and then it goes down like 15, 20 places. They got
Speaker of the House is correct.
Yeah, there's a long list.
There's a long list of them.
I think the Postmaster General's in there somewhere.
Find out pretty soon.
All right, so for the next question, we're going to bypass this one, which is the governor of our state now. It just doesn't matter.
Oh, no, she does not matter. She's horrible.
What are two rights in the Declaration of Independence?
Ooh. Let's see. I don't know that one.
That is, I think that's a bad question because the rights are delineated in the Constitution, not the Declaration of Independence. Let's see. We have. No, wait a minute. Yeah, it has three of them. Happiness is one of the pursuit of happiness. Liberty, life, liberty, something. What is it?
Liberty, justice, and pursuit of
life, liberty, pursuit of happiness.
Life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. These are not rights, though. Those are. Well, I guess maybe it does say rights.
Have the right to life, have the right to liberty, and have the right to pursuit of happiness. Obviously, no one's happy right now. What does the president's cabinet do?
In a functioning democracy, it's people that are experts in their field that will advise the president on policy and positions. What we have now is, I don't know, Dr. Strangelove comes to mind.
The Fox in the Hen House.
The Fox in the Hen House?
Yeah. You're right. It advises the president. There are 4 amendments to the Constitution about who can vote. Describe one of them.
The one where women can vote. and that was called. It wasn't that long ago either.
Suffrages. Yeah.
And it wasn't that long ago.
It was in 1918, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious. Since we're doing a test.
I heard a guy describe that pretty funny. All the men were off in World War II. The women got the vote, and the first thing they did was prohibit alcohol.
yes. Oh God, and that did not work out. That's how the Kennedys had the rise.
The 4 amendments to the Constitution about who can vote are citizens 18 and older. You don't have to pay a poll tax to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, any citizen can vote. Women and men can vote. A male citizen of any race can vote. How many U.S. senators are there? And you've already said that.
That one German exchange student, he brought up a funny point. Jonah, in Germany, you can drink when you're 16, and you can't own a firearm until like 21. And we're born 80.
There are 100 U.S. senators. You were right earlier, 2 per state. And we got 50 states.
Yep.
When must all men register for the selective service?
18.
No, it's earlier than that. It's 16, isn't it?
At age 18 or between 18 and 26.
See, I remember that.
What does that mean?
I think they've changed that from when I signed up, because I was definitely not 18 when I signed up.
Really?
Absolutely sure about that.
What stops one branch of government from becoming too powerful?
The other 2 branches.
And that would be called?
Separation of powers.
No,
the not separation of powers. It's called the
Checks and balances.
checks and
there
balances.
you go.
I knew that.
Separation of powers is one answer, and checks and balances. But it's checks and balances.
That's important. Yeah.
We're doing pretty good.
We're doing pretty good, yeah. But we really need to say one for Canada and Mexico, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Name one branch or part of the government, and y'all have already done that.
Judicial, legislative.
What are 2 ways that
Coca-Cola.
Americans can participate in their democracy?
Voting and yelling at the TV.
Running for office would be one.
Vote, join a political party, help with campaign, join a civic group, join a community group, give an elected official your opinion on an issue, call senators and representatives, publicly support or oppose any issue or policy, run for office, write to the newspaper.
Post to Facebook. That's what everybody does now.
And I hate the fact that even if there was a civics class, your teacher would say, here are the ways you could participate in
a democracy.
And they don't teach you that we do not have a democracy.
Representational democracy.
It's, I have a love-hate relationship with that question. What are the 2 parts of the U.S. Congress? You've already answered that. Next question. Under our Constitution, some powers belong to the federal government. What is one power of the federal government?
Tax and spend money, isn't it?
Well, there's several. That's one of them.
Tax and spend, defense.
Yeah, defense is one. Yeah.
To print money.
Print money.
Only they can.
Yeah.
To declare war.
Yeah.
Okay.
To create an army.
But see, that's where we
and to make treaties.
That's where we broke off from the original intent of the Constitution, because we don't do that anymore. Because Trump can declare war. He can't declare war, but he can use real bullets.
Yeah.
It's a police action.
Yeah, it's police action. Consulting.
And they're advisors.
How many years do we elect a president?
Oh God, I wish just a
Way
half a
too
year. Yeah. I mean,
4 years. Let's go on.
Oh God.
Trying to get over the last one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who vetoes bills?
Donald J. Trump.
The president.
I'm pretty sure he's gonna be president from here on out. At least at Mar-a-Lago he will be.
Yeah.
What is one promise you make when you become a United States citizen?
Oh, I actually don't know this one.
I don't either, because I didn't become one. I just kind of got born into it.
Yeah, born here, yeah.
I didn't have a choice. Let's see, if I had to guess, I'd say your allegiance. Something like that. Allegiance to this country.
There's several answers. One of them is give up loyalty to other countries.
Yeah, that one.
The other one, defend the Constitution and laws of the United States.
I was going to throw that one out, but I wasn't entirely sure.
Obey the laws of the United States. Serve in the U.S. military if needed. Serve, do important work for the nation if needed. And be loyal to the United States.
This gets me is like when they and when president gets up there, it's like it's my solemn duty to protect Americans from terrorism. No, it's not. It's to protect the Constitution.
Right.
That's right. The other's not even in the job description. You're adding that on your own.
What is the economic system in the United States?
Honestly, or what they tell us?
It's the Federal Reserve Board steals all the money.
Makes no, okay. It's supposed to be capitalism, but it's not true capitalism on any stretch of the imagination.
Right. It's not free market capitalism,
No,
but that's what they will tell you.
Absolutely not. It's not free market capitalism, not in any way. Otherwise, you would have everybody that's too big to fail. Calling you out, Citibank.
How many justices are on the Supreme Court?
Today it's 8.
Yeah. I hope she stays alive. I hope she stays alive.
Correct on that. What are 2 cabinet level positions?
Cabinet level? Oh, the
Secretaries.
Secretary of Interior.
Yeah, I've got them. I've got lots of secretaries.
Yeah, Secretary of Navy, Interior.
Name it. Secretary of
Defense.
Yeah. Treasury.
Yeah. Everything that government does is a cabinet member. Yeah. Every major thing.
Yeah.
What is the rule of law?
It's the thing that we don't follow.
Yeah,
nobody is above the law.
He who has the gold makes the rules. That's the thing. If you don't believe that, well, then you're under a rock.
Well, supposedly from this civic question test, everyone must follow the law. Right. Leaders must obey the law.
Right.
Government must obey the law.
Right.
No one is above the law.
Right.
And we all know that majority of these are not true for certain elected officials. Yeah. Who is the commander-in-chief of the military?
President.
Oh, yeah, which is a bad thing.
Got that right. And what is an amendment?
That is where they screwed up the first time and they put a post-it note on it.
A correction? It's a
It's
correction.
a little post-it note on the original document. Saying, Julie, if you get a chance to retype this, please put this in.
An amendment is a change to the Constitution or an addition to the Constitution. All right. So hopefully through some of this, you knew some of the answers, if not. But basically you have 3 branches of the government: the legislative, the judicial, and the presidential. And it is the legislative branch that introduces laws, votes on them, and turns them, or let me restate, they introduce bills. They vote on it, discuss it, then they send it to the president. If he signs it, it becomes law. And then if a citizen doesn't feel that it should have been a law, you can hire an attorney and sue that it's unconstitutional, and it would go to the judicial branch. So you have these three branches to do checks and balances. So often, many times, I think lately, there's been a huge dumbing down in our society, and people don't realize that organizations like the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union, they work to represent citizens, and when laws both in a state and nationally are introduced and signed into law that are unconstitutional, they take it to bat and go in front of the Supreme Court to argue it. And we do have a voice. And I think people have forgotten that they do have a voice. Just because a governor signs something or a president signs something, if you think that it's unconstitutional, you can bring suit against and try it in court, and it would work its way up to the Supreme Court.
Do you realize our president right now has no idea how this works?
Yeah, I know.
Look at the immigration ban. He had no idea the judge could block him. That's just what?
Well, he can do it if he declares an emergency. If it's like
yeah, and that's what I worry about happening when banning gets, when all this blows over and it becomes more of a we get used to the chaos, because when you bring a national emergency, they run amok. They can do whatever they want.
So that tinfoil time.
Yeah.
Been in that since '33.
Yeah.
And it's I can
we've
say
been in
this.
That since 1933. Yes.
Recently, in our state, there has been a lobby group that successfully went after every bill that was introduced that was going to target a group of people. And they successfully lobbied the legislature to where all those bills were stopped and they weren't taken out of committee, and they died. And so they were never sent to the governor, to be signed into law. So that should show you that we do have the power. The power to win is not waiting until a governor or a president signs something. Understand what bills are being introduced by your legislature, not only in your state, but also nationally. Because if you say, I don't care, then really what you're saying is you don't want democracy. And there's a whole group of us that wants democracy back in America. We want it of the people, by the people, for the people.
Well, in that same vein there, I'm not a fan of social media. It's a personal thing. I know people love it, and that's great. More power to you. But that is one fantastic thing that's going on with social media now, is they have the town hall meetings where the guy is up there with the deer, like a deer in a headlight, and these people are yelling at him like, you take away my health care, my family's going to die. And they're like, there's just a big question mark above their head. They have no idea what's going on. And it's getting posted, it's just liked, it's getting shared.
And we have the technology today to where they're even viewing it live.
20 years ago, it was like you maybe talk to your neighbor who went to that particular thing, and that was the end of it.
There might be a little article in the paper, and they can put a spin on it.
Yeah, they put a spin on it.
That's why it's important to contact your senators, your representatives. But a lot of people don't realize that you can go to, and you can Google this, whatever state you're in, and you can Google the House of Representatives or the Senate. You can do the same on the federal, and you can see which bills are being introduced. They'll have copies of them for you to read either online as a text form or download as a PDF form. You have the ability to see immediacy on what's being done. And then you can Google your senator's name. If you don't, in most states, you go to the election board, plug in your information, and find out who your senators and representatives are. Get their contact information. Call them. Email them. Show up at their office. That's part of the civics lesson that we were all taught as kids. And today's generation does not understand all this process.
The people they hear from the most are lobbyists and not the voters. So the voters need to talk to them.
Well, and with the influx of money in politics, I mean, this is kind of talking down to your point, but if they got somebody donated 50 grand to their campaign, how much are they going to listen to you?
Well, and that's
individually they won't, but
Approved.
a horde outside their office chanting "hell no" whatever, they will.
Yeah,
that's
they'll
why
listen
I've always said in the podcast, it's important to join a grassroots movement so that you're part of that voice, and then collectively those joint grassroots organizations get information out to their members, and thus you got thousands of people calling and doing something. There's an app that I downloaded that emails or texts me first thing in the morning, and it's from a progressive organization, and they tell me what issue they're telling people to do today in Washington. So call your representative or senator and talk to them about X, Y, and Z. And you have these people all across America that are calling these offices saying, I'm talking about this. And what that does is they keep tally points and they go, why did we receive 500 phone calls on this one issue today? We need to look into this. And that's why it's important to be a part of something.
Look what they did with net neutrality. Now, that thing is still in grave danger in the Trump administration. But I don't know, for podcast listeners out there, net neutrality, it's very important that if you get rid of net neutrality, big producers like Fox or Netflix or Amazon or whatever, they can buy larger portions of bandwidth, and they can squeeze little people out of it. And if you have it basically makes toll roads, for lack of a better word. It makes it really hard to get your message out there. But see, was it John Oliver that said, look, they've opened up they've opened up the net neutrality website for comment, and he gave everybody the address. You comment, it crashed the system, and then during the hearings they pointed out, like, our system crashed over when John Oliver said, it's an important issue out there. We can't just gloss this over.
No, that's true. And I mean, once again, most recently the Trump Health Care Act, was partly hammered down because too many people were calling their senators and representatives saying, vote no on this.
Mm-hmm.
But they couldn't coordinate that with net neutrality, or it would cost more.
Mm-hmm.
It would, now it's free kind of
Uh-huh.
for these organizations to communicate with each other.
Uh-huh.
With net neutrality, it's no longer free. There's
Right.
going to be a fee,
Yes.
and that's going to kick a lot of people out of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I usually get when I'm playing this with somebody else, is like, especially if they're conservative men or whatever. I says, okay, you watch Fox News all the time, and you probably stream it, and what that means is if they get rid of net neutrality, CNN, Clinton News Network, can go in there and buy that block of internet, and CNN streams like butter, and Fox News is still frames. And right now that's what net neutrality will do. It will squeeze the people with the money, will squeeze out everybody else.
Which, in previous podcasts we've brought to your attention, there's about 6 major conglomerates that own the news media, including television stations, radio stations, magazines, movie studios, and radio. And so, I mean, you can't really trust news today as you could 30 years ago.
Stories are rolled out, and that's not a tin hat conspiracy thing. They are rolled out. They are spun a certain way.
Yeah. And that's why progressive news outlets such as In These Times, Dissent Magazine,
Young Turks,
Yes Magazine, The Young Turks, Democracy Now!
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, So, civics-wise, understand that there are 3 branches And within those 3 branches, there's supposed to be a checks and balance. And one's not supposed to overthrow the other. And that was one of the things in our state questions that basically there were 2 questions on our state ballot this past November that fundamentally, it had nothing to do when I first read it. I didn't have a dog in the fight in one of them. But the thing that it bothered me with, it was removing the legislative branch from ever being able to change it. Yes. Now, if you
I remember that one, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, forget the issue. There's a bigger issue here. Now we have two sections of government instead of 3.
So if you don't teach civics in the school systems like they did for us years ago, no one would know that they can't do that. You cannot remove one of the branches from the check and balance system.
You remember that story I told you about? What happened to me at the fair? I was talking to that guy at the fair.
Yeah.
And he was for that issue. Well, he was all for it. And when I brought out the point that, it's going to remove the legislature from the process, right then, in a split second, he was not for it anymore.
Yeah. And there was another one that would have removed the judicial branch. Now, excuse me. As I said earlier in this podcast, if there are certain laws that do get enacted, we have the power to maybe get those repealed by taking up a legal case and eventually going to the Supreme Court to show that it's unconstitutional. So if you remove the judicial branch, you don't have that anymore. And if you don't understand civics, you're not going to understand how to fight what's going on. And that's part of the false flag. Part of the false flag is no need for civics anymore. Dumb down the people so that we can become a fascist state. Dumb down to where corporations can own everything.
Remember, you podcast listeners, civics does not just mean Hondas. Just throwing that out there.
All right.
God, that was. Sorry, I apologize
for that cheap,
one.
But
that was cheap.
That's all right. That's all right.
But you need to get involved.
Yeah, and how do you get involved?
Don't rent a Ryder truck. We went through that down that road.
Just inform yourself. A little education won't hurt.
Turn off the major networks for a while and okay, like my advice, these stories, they are spun a certain way, and ask yourself who's benefiting, who's is being harmed by the way it's spun a certain way. The news, everyone's biased when on their news coverage, every single one. Some are less biased, but everyone is biased. But in today's media landscape, we really are getting fed stuff. How to think, how to behave, what to be angry about. It's almost like we've got from George Orwell, the 2 minutes of hate. We're so queued up to Mexicans did this, Muslims did this, and we're just can't stand it.
In the old Soviet Union, they had propaganda down to a science, kind of like they did in Nazi Germany, probably even better. But the difference was, in the Soviet Union, the old Soviet Union, they knew they were being lied to. They look at us and think we're crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in to False Flag this week. Join us next week as we dig into part of the ACLU to understand your rights as a citizen.
Yay! Thanks, everybody. That was awesome.
That was awesome.
Thank you for tuning into False Flag, the grassroots activism podcast where together we can change the world. Please like, comment, and subscribe.